are live again. 1 minute late because I had the same problem that I had the other day. Trying to go live and it would not go. So I ended up having to log out of the account and come back and log in again. So I apologize a little bit for the delay, but this time we got it figured out earlier. Didn't take 10 minutes like the last time, right? So thank you all for being here. So I am Clay Souza. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And every Monday and Wednesday we are here on this channel doing Instagram Live to talk about flash photography. It's all about photography, all about flash photography. This is guided to, at this point, for beginners and intermediate. So there's no wrong question. There's no stupid questions. This is to help you to move along with your photography, right? So we have daily content. So if you are here and enjoy it, please tell a friend. Let's get a good community here where we can help each other. Do you like my new shirt today? Or got spotted my new shirt? What do you think? You like it? I kind of like it. When I got it, I look at this dot here. I was like, maybe I should have put like an Instagram symbol here, right? What do you think? Do you like my shirt? Yes or no? Yeah. And I have, the back. Look at the back. The back's, what is the hashtag? You want one of those? I can give you one of those if you want it. Just send us 5 friends to follow us on Instagram on this feed, and I will send you one of the shirts. I will. I'm serious. So 5 friends. Just 5 friends. Not a whole lot. Let's get this group going. So as we start every week, so Monday and Wednesdays, we are going to start answering some questions that we had from last week. Okay, that came through the DM last week. So one of the questions is, how do I know when to use flash? How do I know when I need to use flash? That is a good question because sometimes you just don't know, right? It all depends on how creative you want to get. You can use flash in 2 ways. One, to light the subject, and another one is to light the subject and get creative with your background. So it's all up to you how you want to deal with that. So if you're a beginner now, I would say start with 1 flash just to light your subject at this point. As you get more comfortable, we can start adding more flashes and get a little bit more creative. Okay. Another question that came through, which is a great question. The question is, I don't know when to use the flash on camera or off camera. This is a great question because how do you know when to use them, right? So again, it's all about getting creative. As you move your flash off camera, you start firing it remotely, you're going to be able to get more creative with your light. You can carry your light stand and create some shadow patterns. And remember what I keep saying, flash photography is all about the shadows. Embrace the shadows, right? Hashtag embrace the shadows. Okay? You're going to start, this is 100% sure, if you start right now with flash photography, you're going to start with the flash on the top of the camera, but pretty soon you're going to feel the need to move the flash away from the camera. So as you get more creative with your lighting. Okay? And the third question now is, I never know which type of modifier I should use. That's a great question. Modifier depends on what kind of vibe you want. Flash is not only lighting is not only about soft light. Sometimes if you're shooting fashion, for instance, you want a harder light. So if you want soft light, a bigger modifier close to the subject is going to get you a soft light. When I say bigger modifier, I mean bigger in relationship to the flash head. Okay, as the bigger it is, the softer it's going to be. Right? If you want a little bit of more harsh shadows, a little bit more of a dramatic look, then you should either bare flash, or you should with one of those guys here, a small modifier, or just like one of those that just projects the light. Okay? So, and if you have questions, you can type them here. We're going to answer them, or you can DM me your question, and I will answer to you and also answer it live here, the next one. Today we have a really exciting topic to talk about. I've been talking about the my pocket sun, right? I usually say that I carry the sun in my pocket. But what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? It's all about what I keep talking about to you, like every week. I keep hammering that. It's all about getting creative. We want to get creative. We want to differentiate yourself from everybody else, differentiate ourselves from everybody else, so we can attract the right type of client. And with the typewriter client, it's gonna come better paying clients. So because not they're gonna hire you once you start establishing yourself as a different from everybody else, they're going to start hiring you for your product and not your price. And that is key. So once, like I said in the beginning, we are wedding photographers. And when I look back, when I start shooting weddings, I start shooting weddings, and today we charge twice as much as we charge, a little bit over twice as much as we charge. We more than double our wedding today, our wedding collections today, because we were able to create unique images that not a lot of people around here can do that. And as I say every time, every light, I'm not hating on natural light photographers. I use natural light photographers. I use natural light all the time when I'm shooting, and if the light is good. But sometimes you have to differentiate yourself. You have to differentiate yourself from everybody else to stand out from the crowd, right? Otherwise, you're competing on that pool of people where everybody is on the $2,000 weddings to $2,500 weddings. You want to get out of that because you have way more competition there than you have on a higher market. So, but to get there, your images need to reflect the price. Nobody's going to pay $5,000-$6,000 a wedding if your images don't differentiate. So one of the things that I'm going to show you today, how to differentiate yourself, is using my pocket flash, my pocket sun, how to use that to make a difference, right? So it's a very simple technique that I use a lot. I mean, not as much, because I at some point I was using it a lot, and I decided, well, I have to take it easy on that a little bit and stop using that. There's a few things that we have to touch on that, but let me show you a few images so you can have an idea what I'm talking about. Hold on a second. Let's grab this album here. So one of them, you see the little arrow there? One of them is that. One of the things that we find a lot on weddings, every bride wants sunset. Every bride wants, like, oh my goodness, I want a sunset picture. And if you don't have the sunset of the day, what do we do? Right? So we create one, right? That is a light sunset because the mood wasn't there. And we're going to talk about that at the end. So I just create that little bit of sunset there just to create the highlight on her hair. Camera left, you can see that. There's another one that is a little bit more intense that I can show you. Look at this guy, right? See how much highlight they have there? That was created by this technique that I'm going to show you. Okay? So it's not a complicated technique. You just need to know how to dial it correctly and when and how to use it correctly. All right? So let me show you how I do that. So the way we do this, we grab a flash. Okay, this is the AD200, right? This doesn't have to be this one. It could be a speed light also. And we put a gel on it, orange gel, and we put a mag sphere on it. And we light the subject from behind. Now, let's break it down a little bit. Do you need the sphere or some type of something that's going to soften the edges? Yes, I would say yes. You need that. I don't think you need grids. I've tried to do this with grids at some point. Didn't work that much because it focuses the light way too much, right? The grid is going to focus the light, and the sun's not really focused. The real sun is a little bit, a little bit bigger than that. So I would say yes, you need something there. It doesn't have to be a mag grid. It could be like a small soft box, something like that. That's softening, because this guy here is cool because it softens the edge of the light a little bit, right? You need a gel. It doesn't need to be Magmod. It could be any type of gel, an orange one. Magmod has one thing that I want to call your attention if you don't use the Magmod product. And again, I have no affiliation with Magmod at all. I'm not an ambassador. They don't pay me to talk about their name. It's just gear that I use every single day on my photography. Okay, so the Magmod gels, they have one. I mean, they have the corrective ones and the creative ones, right? This is a full CTO gel. CTO stands for color, temperature, orange. Okay, there's a full CTO. And this is a orange creative gel, right? The CTO is usually used to correct light. Let's say you're shooting tungsten mode, you need the skin to be natural color, you put the orange corrective gel here. And it has difference. It has like, this is a full CTO, they have 1/4, half, and full CTO. So it depends how much intensity you want. This is the corrective gel, and this is the creative gel. The creative gels, you don't have intensity, it's just orange. That's what it is. I like using this guy a little bit more. This tends to be a little bit too strong for what I do, right? This guy here is actually what we do when you're shooting. We put two half CTO gels instead of put one full, because if it's too strong, I ask Danny, you should usually help me with my sessions, just remove one of them. It's much easier to remove than to change the whole thing, right? So we usually have two halves, and that's the one that you usually use. But don't refrain yourself from experimenting with the creative gel. This also works. Okay, so we talked about having this guy on front of the flash. Okay, so it goes over here, the gel goes in, and this guy, right? And you put it far behind. It could be off camera or could be a little bit on camera. Now, how do I decide? First question is, how do I decide if I'm going to keep this off camera or show a little bit of in camera, right? If I want that effect of the sun, if I want to show a little bit of the sun, I tend to keep it a little bit on camera. Not a lot though. So I don't know which way we turn this way. Just a little bit on camera like that, so to just catch the edge in there. Okay? So I don't get much of the power of the flash on camera, right? You can also point this to the lens and get lens flare, is another way of using it. Okay? So another thing that's important to talk about, very, very important, when are you going to use this? This is not a technique that you can use all the time everywhere. Why? Because it needs to make sense. Okay, if you have like a blue day or a cloudy day, you're not going to put sunset there because the sun wasn't out, and the rest of the picture will not match with the lighting. Because when we're lighting, we need to always be thinking about the mood that we're doing, right? Let's say you're doing a wedding reception, for instance. Not a wedding reception, a wedding ceremony, and you're not going to throw like hard light on the bride during the ceremony. You want like softer light, right? So let me answer a question here. So Ray has, so what would be your setting behind the flash? I know it depends on the environment. Yeah, you just answer your own question. All depends on the environment. Every time that I refrain myself as much as I can from saying, oh, what's the power? Where do I start? And that type of things. Because it really will depend on the environment. So how much light you have. That's why it's important for us to learn lighting. Not just get like a bunch of formulas and plug in here. I see people say, oh, it's like F16, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. It's fine. But I don't operate that way. I look at my light. I figure it out, because each light, each environment is going to be different. Each part of the day is going to be different. Okay, so things to consider when you are shooting, when you create your own sunset. But just remember, before I go there, let me show you something here, which is very, very important. Fake sunset. Let's look at this one here. So when people start doing this kind of technique, they kind of want to make the flash, this setup here with the gel, look like the sun. It's hard to do that way. Okay, so what you're looking at when you look at the back of your camera, what you're looking at is the highlight on your subject. You can see where the arrow is there. You see the highlight on the hair and the back. That's what you're looking for. You're not looking for, oh, do I have a fake sun back there? That doesn't work too well. You can get a little bit, like I said before, get a little bit of the edge of it if you want to, but it's never going to be a real sun. Not going to look real. And that's is very easily done in post-production. So if you look at the top left corner of that image there, not the blurred part, but the top left corner, there you can see is a little bit lighter there. That is the edge of the flash that's being caught by the camera. So I just left the edge there, and everything else got, and I have that light, everything else got a little bit warmed up on post-production, which is very easy to do. Then you try to figure out, okay, how much here and there, here and there. So it's all about getting as close as you can to perfection on camera, but also understanding that your subject is standing there waiting for you to figure this stuff out. And that is never a good idea. You gotta go in, shoot, and get out, and let's move on and do something else. Because if your subject is waiting, you know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but 5 minutes in a pose until you're looking down and figuring out, move that way and take another shot. No, move the other way, move the other way. It's not going to work for you. So that's why it's important to practice. Okay, so keep the flash a little bit away off camera, and then you can replicate that effect that I have there in post-production. But the important part of this thing is having the highlight on the subject. That what makes it believable, because they have that highlight. So when you shoot, you look back at the camera. Don't worry if you saw the flash or not. Okay, just go to the highlight and make sure that you can see that highlight there. Which brings me to another part of this is intensity. You're going to look at the highlight and you see how intense it is. If it's too intense, too blown out, no, that's too much. Decrease the flash power. If you're already on 1/128, the lowest power, move the flash away. If you move the flash away, it make a little bit, move a foot away, a foot back further from the subject, it makes a huge difference. It's incredible. So experiment with that, but watch your highlights. You don't want blown outs in there. So Judah is asking, how many flashes did you use in this photo? So this one here, where is it? And this one here, I have 2 flashes. One on the back, creating the sun, the fake sun. It's my pocket sun. And one in the front, lighting them. And that's usually how I start, right? I look at the scene and I light them, I take that shot. Okay, now I have the perfect shot here. I don't need to do light anymore. And I get behind them, either on a light stand, have a light stand there, and if Dan with me, if we have an assistant during the wedding, we'll just get them either holding the flash like that, or just like a monopod with a flash on the top. I like the monopod a lot because you can put the flash really high, because the sun's up there, right? You want that effect coming down. You don't want this on the same level of their heads. Okay, so another thing to be concerned about, I mean not concerned about, but aware of, is the direction of the light. The direction of the light. If the sun is over here, you can't, my hands off the screen. If the sun's over here, if you're shooting them facing the sun, you can't have another sun back here because it needs to make sense. So you need to look at the direction of light. Where is the sun? And turn them around if necessary. But it needs to make sense. The sun needs to be behind them, because that's what makes sense, right? So because the sun will create shadows, okay? If I look at a picture and the sun is hitting this way, the shadow is going to be behind me. How can the sun be over here? It cannot, right? Doesn't make sense. So that's how sometimes you get caught saying, okay, this is what it is. So direction of light. So intensity, to be aware of, direction of light, and time of the day. If you try to do this at 12 o'clock, it probably will not work, because at 12 o'clock the sun's way up there. It's time of the day. It needs to be done at golden hour, you know, later in the day. Because what happens is that, especially here in North Carolina, it's really hard to find a location where you have like an open view of the sun. There's trees all over, so you always, the sun's always setting behind the trees, and that's a nice technique when you have that. Looks like the sun's right there. But you need to watch for the time of the day when the sun is low. That's when you should do that, right? And also type of the day. I touched on this already before. Type of the day. If it's a cloudy day, this is not going to work. There's no sun. The environment, you know, the whole scene doesn't have natural sun. So you're not going to, I mean, you can try it and try to warm it up in post-production, but I think it's a little bit too much work. Because at the end of the day, it needs to look real. It must look real. So this technique is great, but you need to wait for the right time. Okay? It doesn't mean you can go out and practice. Please practice, because it looks much easier than it really is. But once you get it, it's going to look great. One of the things that I have noticed also, I'm a Canon shooter, and what I notice when I teach workshops or do mentoring, Nikon cameras, they tend to be a little bit colder on colors. The colors of the Nikon camera tend to be a little bit colder. And I have had like mentoring people during a mentorship where I was teaching this technique, and we had to change the Kelvin balance on that to warm the whole picture down up, so warm it up, right, the whole environment, to be able to get the yellow highlight. It was coming a little bit too cold. So and then what we do with that, we bump the Kelvin, that makes everything orange, and then we put a blue gel on the flash. I have showed this technique here on another live. So you put the blue gel in front of them to go back with the natural skin tone, because remember, Kelvin is going to warm up the whole scene, so they're going to come up really, really orange. So you need a blue gel on the flash so the skin tones comes back to normal. If you have questions about this technique, let me know, and I'll show you how we do that. Okay, so intensity, direction of light, time of the day, which type of day it is, and it must look real. Otherwise, it will not sell. I mean, that's the bottom line there. It will not sell. So the cool thing about this is like we do this, and I select the images to put in a post, which image I want to go in a post, and I select and then post on Instagram, and you guys probably saw the images. And Danny came home and she said, we were talking about what we're going to show today, and she said, you know that one of those images that you select, it's a real sunset. It's not a fake one. I was like, really? She said, yeah, one of those pictures is from an engagement session, but that was that was a real sun. So Ray is asking, that's when you bump the Kelvin up to 10,000. Yes, you can bump all the way up to 10,000. Doesn't mean you have to have 10,000, but you can bump all the way up there. Just bump it or look at the picture, but that's what it is. So back to the subject. It's like so I put this image there, I like thinking, okay, this is one or more fake sunset, and she said, no, it's not, and the image is this one here. And then when she said it, I remember, I said, oh, you're right, it's not. This one here. That's the real sunset there. Right? So, but I didn't really notice that there was the real one, which is kind of cool because it tells that my fake ones are working really good. And again, you don't have to go all the way to the highlights. You can just create a little bit of it, just like in this picture here. Oh, that's my timer. You can just create a little bit of that light in there, just to create the highlight, yellow, orange on the hair, right? So there's not a whole lot of highlight on her shoulders, but because the scene also wasn't really inspiring like a big sun. It was actually a sunny day that day, but the sun wasn't coming that far, so the sun was hiding behind there. It was a little bit earlier on the day too. So, but that's another way of using it. Okay, so the same way we're doing this, let's say you can also just turn the flash around and light the background of the scene, but that's a whole different live that we're going to do another day. Okay, so go out there and practice. Practice makes perfection, right? So practice, and practice. Do not assume that you know to do that, how to do it, because you just watch this live video, or do not really think that, because I mean, I've told you this story of the rain shot that I've been wanting to do like forever, and I thought I knew it. I had read about it. I had but had not practiced it. And the wedding came, it rained, we finished, and I just walked out of the wedding and did not even remember to do the shot because it wasn't on my trick list. So make sure that you go out and practice, because that's what makes perfection, right? The practice, and practice. It's always good to know those type of things, although you have a changing environment. Okay, how much light do I need here? What's the flash power? That we need here? This you can't predict. It's just like going to be in the moment. But if you get there, knowing what to do, knowing how to move, knowing where to put the flash, knowing where to point the flash, it's going to take a few times. I'm still, up to this day, sometimes it takes me 3 or 4 or 5 shots to get it perfect. But it pays off, because this is what's different about our photography, right? You go out there and you experiment with this. Okay, so go out there, experiment, try it, because it's not gonna happen boom right there. You need to experiment. I mean, Ray's saying here, yes, I'm practicing, and he is, because he keeps sending me, he sends me his images and say, this is not working, what do I do here? So, and I'm guiding him where the problems may be until the point he gets it. And you know what? The more he practices, the more second nature it becomes. And that's what it is. We want all of those techniques to become second nature. So when time comes to execute them on a wedding or on a family shoot, you have it like that, right? You get to a point where you have it right there, man, and it feels great. And these are the type of the array of possibilities that flash photography brings us. I mean, you can't do that type of stuff if you're not using flash, right? And you need to think. Remember that we talked about this on our last live. We need to think about flash photography in a way that is lighting the subject, but also creatively. Like lighting the subject and also creatively. Do not think that flash is just to light the subject. It's not. You light the subject and then you play with a background. I have shown you several images of us doing that, right? Where we didn't have to. But this is what makes it unique. On a very competitive market, we keep saying that all the market's saturated, but the biggest question is, what are you doing to be different? This is what I want to put a little bug on your head. What are you doing today that makes you different from everybody else? Because that's how you're going to get those clients that you want, instead of the clients that just like complain about pricing and that type of stuff, right? So go out there, practice, and practice. Ask questions. I'm here to answer your question. I want to elevate your photography. I want you guys to get better and better and better. If you build a community, a strong community of great photographers, everybody's going to benefit from it. There's competition out there, but everybody's going to competition, right? Okay, so Judah is asking, Clay, can you talk about the family photo that I saw in your Instagram, especially the light? Ooh, the family photo that you saw on my Instagram. Which one is it? I don't know. It was on my other Instagram, photos by Clay NC, or was on this one? I mean, it's got to be on the other one because this one doesn't have anything, right? Are you talking about the one that I posted like yesterday? I may have it here actually. Instagram. Do I have it here? You quick. You're talking about this one, Gilda? Is that one that you're talking about? Judah, is that the one you're talking about? Let me know. Okay, cool. This is a bridal wedding party picture, right? Groomsmen and bridesmaids. So we did this picture on this very dramatic. This place used to be a bank. They have a real safe in there where we can shoot in. It's really cool. So, and there are young people, badass, and I said, why not try to do like a Vanity Fair type of look? So what we have there, we have a light behind them, point a little bit higher to the ceiling, and I have like one light on camera right and one light camera left. Okay, the camera right one is a little bit more guided to the center to light the bride and groom, and one camera left. There's really low power. We want that dramatic setting, dramatic lighting there. So I didn't light one by one like a lot of people do. I did that, I managed that like 2 soft boxes, and that's how we lit that picture there, right? One on the behind and another one, two on the front, right? And I will tell you this to be really transparent. Those rays of light that coming from the back flash there, they were there a little bit. I was really surprised. There was a happy accident actually. I did one of those things that just happened, and I don't even really know why it happened that way. I just accentuated them in post-production, but that was there already. So yeah, that's what makes that photo, I think, a little bit special also, right? Okay. Yes, 3. One behind, one on each side. Soft box, and I think it was like a sphere in the back, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a few years. Okay? Well, guys, again, this is all I have to talk to you today. Thank you so very much for watching. Thank you so very much for keeping the support coming. Tell your friends about our new channel. Let's help everybody who is a beginner starting, and because let's try to get this this fear of flash photography gone, right? So let me know if you have any questions. Send me a DM. I will gladly answer them. Send me a video, send whatever you need help with, let me know. And I want to talk to you next week. So today's Wednesday. Tomorrow we have a wedding to photograph tomorrow. Yeah, Thursday wedding, and have another wedding on Saturday. So it's a busy week here for us, and I'm not complaining. So next Monday I will probably be talking to you about using Flash to freeze the movement. I have some really cool stuff that you guys are going to be like, oh, this is cool. And yeah, I have some really cool stuff to show you guys how I use Flash to freeze movement. But I got a question for you. Would you guys like to see one day one of those lives being done like a live session, maybe outdoors, doing some type of shooting and explaining the thought behind it and how I do that? Yes, Jude, Monday, same time, 8:08, every Monday and Wednesday, 8:08 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah. So would you like, you guys, let me know in the comments, you guys would like to see a real photo shoot outdoors, like, you know, half an hour just showing you guys can ask questions you're going to answer. So if you like that idea, let me know. I will arrange that, and someday we're going to do an outdoor, because now I need to think about microphone. I mean, I have all new kind of gadgets here. I have this guy that I finally made work. Look at that guy, huh? So I have one light here, another one light there. I got another light here. There's light like all over here. It's kind of interesting how we work on this. Okay, so I will coordinate that, and one of those days we're gonna do like a live photo shoot, and you guys can ask all the questions that you have. All right. Again, thank you so much for watching. This video is gonna be posted on my Instagram feed, and also on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to share it with your friends, so let's talk about this. So Clay Souza official and hashtag 808 with Clay. I have something that I forgot. 808 with Clay hashtag, and you know, refer us 5 people, get them to join in, and just like send me a DM saying, hey, I came so and so refer me to this channel, and I'll send you a shirt. 5 people, easy. All right, thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. Bye.